Humankind cannot gain anything without first giving something in return. You know the line, "This is the foundation of alchemy, the brilliant power system of Fullmetal Alchemist." Equivalent exchange operates as a mechanical engine, yet most fans miss the gears turning underneath. We need to tear the floorboards up to look at the tectonic and molecular mechanics, specifically why Edward Elric functions as a human circuit breaker, while everyone else scratches chalk in the dirt. So, let's get started. Mustang rearranges oxygen atoms to guide a spark, and Armstrong pulls defenses straight out of the concrete. This chemistry determines survival, meaning one wrong variable leaves you as a red stain on the pavement. The technical term for this reshaping is transmutation, which happens in a three-step sequence. Comprehension comes first. Before changing a steel pipe into a spear, the alchemist must understand its atomic structure, including the lattice structure, carbon content, and density. You can't reshape what you don't know. So Edward and Alphonse spent their childhoods memorizing the periodic table and molecular bond angles. Deconstruction follows, where the alchemist uses energy to smash the molecular bonds holding the object together. This dissolves the steel into a soup of floating iron and carbon atoms until reconstruction finishes the job, seizing those atoms and forcing them into a new shape. The law of natural providence governs this process, so turning a lead pipe into gold requires a Philosopher Stone to cheat the atomic weight. Standard alchemy limits you to the materials at hand. Lead is Pb and water is H2O, yielding only a lead shield or statue. You need specific atoms to build the structure, just like you need specific blocks for a model. Once the mind handles the understanding, the transmutation circle functions as the circuit board connecting the alchemist's intent to the Earth's energy. The circle channels the power loop recycling through the world, using internal triangles and hexagrams to tell the energy to compress oxygen or solidify rock. Scuffing the chalk breaks the circuit and kills the machine, so combat alchemists etch their code permanently onto their gear. Mustang carries the flame formula on his gloves, and Armstrong stamps the stone code on his gauntlets to execute the program without writing it from scratch. But the machine still needs fuel to shatter those molecular bonds. Amestrians are taught that the circle acts as an antenna for tectonic energy, tapping into the kinetic grind of the planet's crust. That official story covers up the reality that Father sits between the crust and the alchemist, using a network of Philosopher Stones in the underground pipes as a filter. Ed and Mustang actually plug into Father's extension cord, rather than the planet, giving him the power to regulate the voltage, or simply cut the line on the promised day. Mei Cheng, however, ignores the Amestrian grid entirely. The Xingese system views the world through the dragon's pulse, the fluid flow of chai running from mountains into the land. Amestrian alchemy relies on the industrial crash of tectonic plates, but alkahestry flows like a river. Since Mei taps into this surface level current, she operates on a frequency that Father's underground filter can't touch. Scar's brother realized he could synthesize the two, creating a hybrid system that merges Amestrian power with Xingese sensing. The war took his life, but he preserved the formula by tattooing it onto the arm he gave to Scar. Edward Elric bypasses the chalk for a different reason. He saw the source code. The attempt at human transmutation pulled him through the gate of truth. He saw the blueprints of the universe in that void. The truth reflects your own arrogance back at you. Ed's brain flooded with every alchemical formula in existence, transforming him into a living circle where his body acts as the ring, and his hands form the connection. But the gate demands a toll for that entry. Ed paid a leg to see the truth and an arm to bind Al's soul, while Al lost his entire physical existence. In a cruel twist of irony, they wanted their mother's warmth, so the truth took away their ability to feel anything. All that horrific cost cements human transmutation as the one unbreakable rule. Ed and Al gathered the precise ingredients: water, carbon, ammonia, lime, phosphorus, salt, proving that you can buy a human body's chemical makeup at a market for loose change. However, the experiment failed because the equation remained unbalanced, showing that while you can synthesize proteins and bone, you cannot synthesize a soul. When a person dies, the signal cuts out, and the soul dissolves back into the universe's flow. Attempting to retrieve it is like trying to recover a specific cup of water poured into the ocean, leaving you with nothing of infinite value to trade. The government bans the practice because it creates monsters, But Father exploits that prohibition to headhunt survivors who have seen the truth. He needs them as batteries for his ritual, so the taboo doubles as a trap for the few he lures into breaking it. If you want to cheat the exchange without losing a limb, there is only one workaround. The Philosopher's Stone functions as a spiritual battery, condensing thousands of human sacrifices into a single core, effectively allowing the alchemist to settle debts using trapped souls instead of physical matter. This method shifts the cost onto the victims, burning their existence as fuel until the charge runs dry and the stone becomes just an ordinary object. Homunculi regenerate by burning this fuel. Lust heals a bullet wound by burning through the Ishvalan souls trapped inside her, so she uses people like coal. Fullmetal Alchemist builds a world where everything has a price, often higher than you want to pay. Ed and Al start thinking a formula can solve anything. They eventually realize that a mother's love or a brother's body cannot be synthesized. They have to be earned. I hope everything was clear, and if you watched this far, you probably liked the video a little bit. So please consider giving it a like and subscribing so that you can find all kinds of amazing Fullmetal Alchemist and anime content in general like this. It's just the beginning, and that was it for today.